Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, Salatu Wassalam, Rasulullah, Assalaamu'alaikum, Rahmatullahi, Barakatu. Brothers and sisters, for joining us on our first class today on the 24th day of Jumada al-Ula, 1445, which is the 7th of December 2023. So we will be covering a very important book, which is Sifat Salat An-Nabi, which is the description of the Prophet's prayer in English, by the Sheikh Al-Albani, Rahmah, and it will be by our Sheikh Abu Sahib. It will be every fortnight, that's every 2 weeks on a Thursday here at the masjid, around the same time. So you can join us live, and that is best. You can also join us remotely. Sheikh, I'll pass over to you.
Did you date the class? The date today?
The date, yes.
Right, okay. Injury date, yeah? Yeah. Done the injury, 24th was it? 24th. Right, come on. I was paying attention to the children. Children, just make sure that they are separate. Yeah, make it separate. Just make them separate, they'll be okay. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us and bless the night and bless what we hear and make what we hear is on our scale on the day of resurrection. And this is a new class based upon your request, which is Sifat Salat An-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam من التكبير إلى التسليم كأنك تراها, translation of which this is the description of the prayer of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. It's like you're seeing it from the beginning takbir until the end, which is the taslim. Our introduction will be focusing upon 3 things. Maybe inshallah we'll finish the 3 things, but we do have limited time before the prayer and then after the prayer. The time was made like this in order to maximize the audience, meaning that the people who come to the prayer will join in. We might inshallah later on be interested to continue. But as students of knowledge, you need to know that you need to have patience in order to gain the knowledge. Patience is very important. And you don't need any patience to go and line up, for example, for a big queue in order to get a mega sale, like a TV. 5,000, going to give it to you for 500. You don't have any problem whatsoever to be lined up there for hours and days and camp the night before. But when it comes to the deen, we have, subhanallah, people being ascetic. They don't really pay attention to how much important for them to gain the knowledge. And this book, I say, compromises not just the Sifat Salat An-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, which is the description of the prayer, but actually also it adds up a number of things, which is the aqidah, and more important, and that is the methodology. The methodology means al-manhaj, what sort of methodology we need to be upon. And that is the introduction of the Prophet of Allah. So number 1 introduction, we're going to talk about a short biography of the Sheikh, because we've done so much of it at the beginning of the course that was before this, and that is a tasfiyah tarbiyah, because it was by Sheikh Al-Albani Rahmahullah, in which we have shed light upon the Sheikh Al-Albani's life. But this time I would like our brother here, inshallah, to read for us from the book that we're going to be reading from. So the translators of the book of Sifat al-Salah, they have made, Jazakumullah khairah, an introduction, which is very good. I've read it myself in English, which is a summary. And that summary is good to memorize. Some of the people were not here at the beginning of the last quarter's Tasfiyah Tarbiyah. And that's the first introduction. Introduction number 2 is going to be talking about the book itself and what we're going to be explaining. So this book and what are the biography of the book itself, the background of the book, because it's not just one book. It's actually, I'm having here 3 books, which is the same title. This, and those 3 volumes are from the same book. So we're going to be talking about that as well. Then lately after that, we will talk about the introduction of the Sheikh of the book, which is the manhaj itself. And that is inshallah going to be next time, in 2 weeks' time. So we'll start now. First of all, we define what is the translation we're going to go through, because we have 2 translations in the market. One, which I have done an explanation of it a long time ago, talking about more than 10, 15 years ago. And that was translation by somebody who was done it very well at that time. But subhanallah, we have to ask all the time this dua, Allahumma ya musarrif al-qulub, sarrif qulubana ala dinik. O Lord, the one who affirms the heart, the one who makes the heart to go to a certain direction, make our heart to be affirmed onto your religion. Because the person who translated the book at the time, he was from, you could say, the Salafi manhaj with beards and thawb and all of that. A person which I know, a close person to me, and suddenly he's drifted so way, even his Islam is in question at the moment. So you ask Allah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So from being a translator of the best of the books, and then later on, he is almost away from Islam. Some people, they say he's not even a Muslim. The second translation, which we're going to go through it, is by Darussalam, and it's available on PDF as well. So I would urge you to buy the book. Our brother here, Jazakallah khairan, he got the book on order, but you could make the book, because it's very important. I would like to see students holding a book, not just holding mobiles. So we got to be tab sheikhs or mobile sheikhs. Not mobile sheikhs, a book sheikh. Well, you have to have the book. Without the book, you can't do anything. You have to have book, and you have to have like this, like my notes. I've got notes here all over the place. You've got notes, see? I write things here. These are the notes which I took from my sheikhs. Talking about here more than 30 years ago. These are my notes here. So I wrote my notes. These notes are valued. These are notes, I treat them like my children. You know, if I lose this book, it's not I lose the books, I lose my life. This is what I built up all my life. So you have to have a start. Buy a book. Don't depend upon tabs and laptops. You know, one of the shuyukh, he does give a khutbah. I said, the brother, who's giving the khutbah? He said, the tab sheikh. I said, what is the tab sheikh? He said, just goes to the pulpit and he opens his tab in front of people and he reads from it. It's not correct, Khwani. We want to make sure to recite and read from your memory, from what you're understanding as well. So we will, inshallah, shed light upon all of these things. So we start with the biography. So the translation is Darussalam. And if you want to, our brother here, Uthman, where's Uthman? What, Uthman? Uthman is the one who invites us, he's not here. That's not something, not really good. That's not a good start. Right. So if you want to put your name, if you want to just ship that book in numbers, you could pay the money, in advance, and then he will ship the book. It might be cheaper, okay, from Darussalam. That would be cheaper.
Sorry, Sheikh, for disturbing. I actually found a copy on Amazon, £5.
MashaAllah.
Put the link on the group. So whoever's on the group, you might see it's £5 on Amazon.
It's not loud, it's not loud. It's not really loud. You have to put it in your mouth or you hang it in your beard or something, maybe.
So, brothers, anyone who's on the group?
It's not really right. It's not correct. Now it's correct.
Turning it on would be helpful.
Yes, you look.
Yes. I put it on the Amazon on the WhatsApp group. Amazon is £5. The shipping becomes cheaper and the price becomes cheaper if you multi-buy. So maybe some brothers can get together and buy, or tell us and we can buy it for you. So that would be best.
Right. So we'll just, all of us, go to the translation, and I'm going to go with you, because I don't have the book myself in English. So I'll go with you as well with the translation of the book. And it's going to be on my now.
Can you open for people to go to Zoom?
Zoom is on, okay.
Oh. It says locked by host.
Locked by host? No, there's nobody in my Zoom. No. There's nobody in my Zoom. If it's two people, anybody can go to link to the Zoom. They don't have the right, maybe right link. You'll go through straight away. You've got only two people here. I am just sorry for this interruption. Jazakumullah khair. Right, description. You could start if you wish. Jazakallah khair. Which page?
We'll start at the first page of the biography.
Page number 1.
On the PDF is page number 7.
Page number
7 of the PDF.
Are you sure? I'm talking about here, the PDF doesn't show 7, it's more than that. So it's page 14 on my PDF. Okay? Maybe 7 as in the number which is on the PDF itself, but in the number PDF as in the file, it's page 14. Oh, okay, khair, no problem. Yeah, it's page number 14. Go ahead. I think it was just different, is it?
It's a little bit different.
And this is the one I got from him. You have to have the same.
Yeah, this is the one that.
Okay, so that's.
The translator is Osama Hassan.
It wasn't. He gave me something different, the translation. He gave me translation different, ya Sheikh. He gave me Darussalam. Didn't you? Yeah, but he's got Osama Hassan here. Okay, we have to, everything has to be prepared, not like that. He's giving me translation, give you different translation. Subhanallah. No, it's not correct because I can't. Because I approved the translation that he had sent me, which is the translation of Darussalam. If you want to just download it, I'll read myself until you download it, okay? Imam Nasir al-Din, Rahimahullah. His name and his lineage. He is Muhammad Nasir al-Din ibn Nuh ibn Adam Najati al-Aldani or al-Bani. By birth, Bani because this is how they pronounce Albanian, Albani. They don't say Albani. Al-Dimashqi by residence. So he lived in Damascus, and Al-Urduni, which is Jordanian due to his migration and place of death in Jordan. He was born into a poor family in the city of Ashkodra. Ashkodra is the capital of Albania in the year 1332 Hijri, which none of you understand that. 1914, unfortunately, it's a problem, don't understand the Hijri date. 1914 Christian era. His father was, yes? Yeah, you could read now, his father. His father was Al-Hajj Nuh, from the major Hanafi scholars of his land during Ahmad Zogo. So Ahmad Zogo, he was the caliphate, or not caliphate, you should say, the president of the Albanian at that time. So he was the, during his reign of rulership, was serving oppression for the Muslim community. So he was following Kemal Ataturk. Kemal Ataturk is a Kafir person who led Turkey. And he was imposing upon the people to be looking like anything but Muslims. Anything but Muslims, like Westerns, and putting the hat of the Westerns. And due to this, Sheikh's family migrated to Damascus. So his father took him when he was a kid to Sheikh Al-Albani, and his family and his mother and all of them to Damascus, which is in Syria. And it is there that he had and his family took residence. Now his educational background and teachers. Hopefully you're going to write from there. Now.
His first teacher and sheikh was his father, Al-Hajj
Najati,
who himself had completed Sharia studies in Istanbul, Turkey. He returned to Albania as one of his Hanafi scholars and Mufti of Albania.
So he was a Mufti, his father was a Mufti of Albania, but he's upon the Hanafi. Hanafi school of thought attributes itself to Imam Abu Hanifa An-Nu'man, Rahimahullah. Abu Hanifa, he was one of the scholars who had, his star was emerged in the Iraq, Kufa, the place in there. And Abu Hanifa, Rahimahullah, he was a great scholar, but the amount of hadith that reached him, it was very little, because the hadith was not, at that time, it was not thrashing. It's not really in its peak. It's later on it came on. That's why you find Imam Al-Bukhari, Imam Muslim, Imam Abu Dawood, and all these great Imams of hadith well before Abu Hanifa, after Abu Hanifa, well after Abu Hanifa. That's why Abu Hanifa, most of his opinions was based upon opinions rather than sources of hadith, because he doesn't have hadith that much. But he was a great scholar. So he was the first one, and then the great scholar after him came Imam Malik, and also after him came Imam Shafi'i, and also Imam Shafi'i after him came Imam Ahmad. The link is Abu Hanifa, he had students, and those students were at the time of Imam Malik. So there was some debates between Imam Malik and the big students of Abu Hanifa. But he was younger, much younger. And then Imam Shafi'i, he was like, you could call him as a student of Imam Malik, even though he did not study under him. But Imam Ahmad, definitely he was the student of Imam Shafi'i because he studied under him. So those Imams are four links, and their school of thought was spreading and widely spread because of their students. It's nothing to do with that they themselves set these school of thoughts. No. They themselves were saying, إِذَا صَحَّ الْحَدِيث فَهُوَ مَذْهَبِ. If the hadith is authentic, this is my madhab, this is my methodology. They never said, follow me and don't follow anybody else. No, follow the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I think we discussed that very deeply into our previous course, which is the Tasfiyah wa Tarbiyah. So, go ahead.
Under his father's guidance, the Sheikh studied Quran, Tajweed, Arabic language, as well as Hanafi fiqh.
Right, so Sheikh Al-Albani studied all of that. He had studied all of the Quran under his father, the fiqh of the Hanafi though, and all the other tafsir underneath his father who was a scholar. Naam.
He further studied Hanafi fiqh and Arabic language under Sheikh Saeed Al-Burhan.
Saeed Al-Burhan, he studied under him the book which was called Maraq al-Falah. He studied on him. It's a well-known Hanafi book, Maraq al-Falah, Sa'id al-Burhani. Naam.
He would attend the lectures of Imam Abdul Fattah and Sheikh Tawfiq al-Barzakh.
Which were well-known shuyukh at that time. They're not known scholars, but they are well-known shuyukh at the time. I wouldn't think they are maybe more knowledgeable than his father. Naam.
The Sheikh met the late Hadith master Ahmed Shakir.
That's Ahmad Shakir, by the way. See that A, you've got that thing? Ahmad Shakir is a well-known Egyptian scholar of Hadith. And he is the one who had made the checking up of the Muslim Imam Ahmad. And the Sheikh Al-Albani met him. He met him actually in one of the Umrah or Hajj season. He met him in Saudi Arabia, there in Mecca or Medina, I can't remember. But he met the Sheikh and they were having some debates regarding some hadith. And Sheikh Al-Albani, when he was after that, after he died and all of that, we're talking about recently before he died, he was asked Sheikh Al-Albani about Sheikh Ahmad Shakir. What he said a great scholar of hadith, Ahmad Shakir. But he was a bit stubborn, that's what he said. So he's a bit stubborn regarding the hadiths of whether it is not correct or authentic or not. But anyway, Sheikh Ahmad Shakir, he had seen in Muhammad Nasir al-Albani is a person his star is going to be later on well known to everybody. Definitely Sheikh Al-Albani was much more famous at the time of his than Ahmad Shakir at his time. Ahmad Shakir is a great scholar, and Naam.
The Sheikh met the late Hadith master Ahmed Shakir, with whom he participated in knowledge-based discussions on Hadith and its research. He met the late Indian Hadith scholar Sheikh Abdul Samad
Sharaf al-Din, not Sharaf by the way, Sharaf. It's supposed to, has to be an A after the R, okay? Abdul Samad Sharaf al-Din, who's a great scholar of India as well, is a scholar of Hadith, and that Sheikh, he had actually was talking and sent a letter, which I've read, the letter to the Sheikh, in which he had said that he is the scholar of Hadith. You are the most biggest scholar of Hadith, O Sheikh Al-Albani. In the way that he talked to him and respect to him, subhanallah, because he was doing the checking up of the volume number 1 of Sunan Nasa'i al-Kubra, and also he had done for him Kitab Tuhfat al-Ashraf li al-Imam al-Mizzi, rahimahullah. And in that, he had actually, Imam al-Muzzi, he had gathered in his book, Ashraf Atraf al-Hadith, which is a big book, Tuhfat al-Ashraf, Atraf al-Hadith, and that is more than almost 20,000 hadiths, in which he had compiled Imam al-Bukhari, Imam Muslim, Imam Nasa'i, Imam Abu Dawood, Imam al-Tirmidhi, and Imam Ibn Majah, the 6 books. Plus, on top of those, he had done the Marasil of Abu Dawood. Also, he has done on top of that, that book, Kitab Al-Yawm Wal-Layla, Al-Imam Al-Nasa'i, and also the Kitab of the Shama' Al-Muhammadiyya, Imam Al-Tirmidhi. All of those ahadith in one book. They want to make all the ahadith in that book. He didn't say that all of the authentic, well, Bukhari Muslim is authentic, but the others, he didn't say just, he wanted to gather those ahadith. So, this Sheikh Abdul Samad, he was checking up on these ahadith. So it shows you that if the Sheikh was checking up of more than 20 or almost 20,000, 19,000 something hadith, yet he called Sheikh Al-Albani is to be the top scholar of hadith. We are talking about a man whom some of the scholars describe, he is one of the followers, tabi'een, after companions. They can't say companions because he didn't meet the Prophet in that era, but time brought him later on. So he's like the Imam Al-Hasan Al-Basri, those big names, okay? Sa'id ibn Jubayr, there's big names there. He's from those stars. Because Sheikh Al-Albani, whether you like it or not, his name is going to be for Allah until maybe the day of resurrection. Because now we say Rawahu al-Bukhari, Rawahu Muslim, Rawahu Abu Dawood, Sahahahu Al-Albani. So his name was stuck to those stars. You can't dismantle Sheikh Al-Albani from those stars. Bukhari and Muslim, you always mention. Imam Al-Albani is always mentioned, whether you like it or not. Whether he like him or don't like him, Imam Al-Albani is there. He's stuck. His name, Allah made him to be stuck to those ahadith. So Sheikh Ibn Baz, Sheikh Ibn Uthaymin, after maybe 100, 200 years, they're going to be forgotten. But not Sheikh Al-Albani. Sheikh Al-Albani, every time you quote a hadith, صححه الألباني, حسنه الألباني, ضعفه الألباني, رحمه الله, جزاه الله خيرا عنا خير الجزاء. نعم. طيب, so we've just now talked about Abdul Samad Sharaf al-Din, and he himself, who himself, he said?
Who himself had referenced the hadith to the first volume of Al-Nasa'i's Sunan al-Kubra, as well as Al-Mizzi's monumental
Tuhfat al-Ashraf. نعم.
And they continue to exchange letters on matters of knowledge. In one such letter, Sheikh Abdul Samad expressed his belief that Al-Albani was the greatest hadith scholar of the time.
Okay, right, of the time, and so in recognition, inshallah, we'll continue after the prayer. Don't worry, I mean, the brothers here, you don't mind waiting for 30 seconds extra. It's not a rocket to be launched yet. طيب خير إن شاء الله. We'll line up for the prayer. Alhamdulillah والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Now, right, so in recognition, please, from the beginning.
In recognition of his knowledge of hadith, he was commissioned in 1955 by the Faculty of Sharia at the Lexus University to carry out detailed analysis and research into hadith related to buying and selling and other business-related transactions. Sheikh Al-Albani received ijazah from a number of scholars. From amongst the most famous of them was Sheikh Muhammad Raghib
الطباخ.
the historian and muhaddith of Halab, and Sheikh
Halab means a city in the city in Syria. نعم.
and Sheikh Bahjatul Baitar.
بهجة البيطار also Sheikh, and he's a person who's a scholar. نعم. Of hadith.
Through whom his isnad reaches Imam Ahmad.
His isnad is in relationship of teaching wise, reaches Imam Ahmad. So Imam Ahmad taught his students, and then his students taught his students until reached Bahjat al-Baitar. Fadl.
He would often correspond with numerous scholars, particularly those from India and Pakistan, discussing matters related to hadith and the religion in general, including Sheikh Muhammad Zamzami from Morocco. And
Muhammad al-Zamzami, well-known Sheikh in Morocco, and he is almost 2 years older than the Sheikh Al-Albani. And the Sheikh Rahimahullah, he was well known to fight the Sufi manhaj. He's got lots of books, Rahimahullah, to fight all these harakat al-Sufiya, which was in Morocco. Had it been for him, it would be more Sufis in Morocco. Jazakallahu khairan, Rahimahullah. And also, Ubaidillah.
And Ubaidillah Rahman, the author of Mirkat al-Mafati
Sharh Mishkat al-Masabih. Sahib al-Mirqah, also this person is called Ubaidillah Rahmani, which is Al-Mubarakfuri, Rahimahullah. Great scholar of India, was born in India, and he's a person as well who had done this the interpretation of Mishkat al-Masabih, which is a hadith book. Tfadal. His skill in hadith.
His skill in hadith is attested by a host of qualified scholars, including Dr. Amin al-Misri, head of Islamic Studies at Medina University.
So he was the head of the Medina University when Sheikh Al-Albani was teaching there, and he was saying, I don't deserve to be the head of the faculty of hadith. It has to be that teacher, Sheikh Al-Albani, who is, so he's a student of Sheikh Al-Albani, yet he is, in terms of what, employment-wise, he's his boss. Now.
Who considers himself to be one of the Sheikh's students. Also, Dr. Subi al-Salah, former head of hadith sciences at the University of Damascus.
And this Subh Salah, well known as well, muhaddith and sheikh in the hadith in the University of Damascus. Also,
Dr. Ahmed al-Asal.
Al-Asal, he's a asal. Asal means honey.
Head of Islamic Studies at Riyadh University.
Naam.
The late Pakistani hadith scholar.
Allama, he's a allama, which is Badr al-Din. Badi' al-Din, sorry, Badi' al-Din al-Sindi.
Badi' al-Din Shah al-Sindi.
Naam, Badi' al-Din
Sheikh Muhammad Tayyib al-Kij.
Okij. Muhammad, this is in Ankara, he's the best person. Naam.
Former head of Tafsir and Hadith at the University of Ankara in Turkey, and countless others. The Sheikh was invited to teach Hadith at the Islamic University of
I remember, there's a letter as well from this Okinj, which is the one who was in Ankara. He sent him a letter to the Sheikh saying to him, you are the biggest scholar, we want to learn from you, please send me all your books that you have done so I could read them. And Sheikh Al-Albani was, in his time, well known, Rahimahullah. And this is before he became the Sheikh of the Muhaddith, which is 20 years after. This is at the beginning of his life. This book, when he had made the authority of this book, which is the Sifat Salat An-Nabi, actually I should say this book, when he written it called Asl al-Sifat, 3 volumes, ikhwani. This is the origin of the Sifat Salat An-Nabi. Okay? He'd done it when he was only 33 years old. 33 years old, he compiled this book. Okay? So it was 1366, 77 years ago. So 1966, 77 years ago. Yes. Now.
The Sheikh was invited to teach Hadith at the Islamic University of Medina in 1381 Hijri, and that is 1961 to 1383, which is
2 years Sheikh had taught there. Now.
He returned to his former studies and work in the Zahiriya.
Al-Zahiriya. Maktab al-Zahir.
His love to Medina University was evident by the fact that he
bequeathed
his entire personal library to
all his library was given to the Medina. So you go to Medina now, there's a special room, big one, hole like this, just like this, Sheikh Al-Albani. And you could ask the ones who are in charge to open it for you. And it's all Albani's book. You're not allowed to take anyone. You're allowed to read there. So Sheikh dedicated all his books, which was shipped by plane from his library after his death to the Medina. We're talking about manuscripts, thousands of books, rahimahullah. I've been to his library, the book Sheikh Al-Albani, Rahmatullahi. It's amazing. It looks like something that you could put in the museum. Sheikh Al-Albani used to have something, and you never see it with the scholars, the papers that he used to write on. You know, you carry a bag, the carrier bag they used to have. This carrier bag, because the Sheikh was really poor, he used to write on these carrier bags. On the carrier, I've seen that on the carrier bag. And it used to be hanged onto like a peg. And this peg now, he made a pulley with a rope. And it goes from here up to there. So the Sheikh, he could just, the rope, and that paper comes to him through the pulley. You understand me? And it's hanging those, like papers. SubhanAllah. And his writing is beautiful, Sheikh Al-Albani, Rahmatullahi. So he's very, very systematic person. He does not really live in chaos. Very systematic. Everything is through the system. Rahimahullah. He's got as well photocopier. I've seen it. Which I wanted to photocopy something. Did you know how to photocopy? I said, Sheikh, I am a photocopy because I work in a bookshop. He said, show me. When I did a mistake, he said, sit down. You don't know anything. He got up himself, the old man, and did it himself. Nah, problem.
After carrying out a hadith analysis of Ibn Khuzayma's Sahih, the Indian hadith scholar Muhammad
Mustafa Al-A'zami, rahimahullah, is the one who checked the kitab Sahih ibn Khuzaymah. He made checking upon it. But he was not as good as Sheikh Al-Albani, so he said to the Sheikh, check my checking. So check my checking. Okay, so there was now what he had said, Mustafa Al-A'zami, and then checked by Albani. Yes, he said authentic. Yes, authentic of Albani. Otherwise, Sheikh Al-Albani said it's not authentic because the Sheikh he missed this and this. So go ahead.
So Muhammad Mustafa Al-Adami, head of Hadith Science in Makkah, chose Albani to verify and recheck his analysis, which is currently published in 4 volumes containing both their comments. This is an indication of the level of trust placed in Albani's hadith ability by other scholars.
Right. Now, so this is going to go to his work, some of the books, please. We'll finish straight away.
The Sheikh's printed works, mainly in the field of hadith and its sciences, number over 100, running into many volumes. He left behind him in manuscript form at least a further 70 works. Some of his well-known published works are Da'if Abu Dawood, Da'if Ibn Majah.
Okay, Ibn Majah. Right, let me read the books myself. So let me just tell you, when it says over 100, 150 or almost 200, this is one of them, for example, could be a book like this, or could be like 3 volumes like this, or could be like Silsila Sahihah, is one title, which is 7 volumes, or Da'ifa, which is 13 volumes. Okay, so it's not simple, really, and it's all of it not checking, it's all of it what authors by himself. So very few are being checked. So we've got Da'if Abi Dawood, Da'if Ibn Majah, Da'if. Now Da'if Abi Dawood has got 2, Da'if Sunan Abi Dawood and Da'if Abi Dawood. And also, as for Da'if Ibn Majah, is called Da'if Sunan Ibn Majah, not Da'if Ibn Majah. Da'if Al-Jami', Sahih Al-Jami', Sahih and Da'if Al-Targhib wa Tarhib. And also the Dilal Al-Jannah and Ghayat Al-Maram, Irwa' Al-Ghalil, Sahih Abi Dawood, and also the Sahih, all of the Sahih, and also Silsila Al-Hadith Al-Sahih. I'm just reading some of them. Okay, Tasfiyah Al-Tarbi, which we have done the course before, and also, of course, Sifat Salat An-Nabi, which is a book that was translated more than 15 languages. This book was translated more than 15 languages. God knows how many. Now, the scholar?
The scholars praised for him. Many senior scholars and imams praised him and benefited from his vast knowledge. They would ask him questions, visit him in person, seek religious verdicts from him, and exchange letters with him. Sheikh Abdul Aziz Al-Huda said of him...
Al-Huda, not with an Al-Hada with an H and H at the end. Abdul Aziz Al-Hada. He said of him that he was...
the Sheikh, the great scholar, the ocean of knowledge.
Actually, he is the one quoted for us the following story, which is Muhammad
Al-Amin Al-Shankiti.
Muhammad Amin Shankiti is not the Shankiti, the young one, this one. This one before him. Shanqiti from Shanaqita, from Mauritania, this place. This Shanaqita is well known to be very scholars in memorization. He had made lots of books. He was a good man in tafsir, to say the best in his time. He said he made إيضاح القرآن بالقرآن, which he made أضواء البيان في إيضاح القرآن بالقرآن. أضواء البيان is a massive, about how many volumes God knows, and it depends upon the print. And the Sheikh, even Sheikh Al-Albani used to describe this person. It's like the Quran in between his eyes. It's like faster than the computer and the Quran noise. It's like Quran is between it. Yet he, Abdul Aziz Al-Hada, he had narrated for us the following story, which is Muhammad ibn Shanqiti, respected
Sheikh Al-Albani, to the point that when he would see him passing by while he would be teaching his class in the Masjid al-Madinah, he would stop his class to stand and give salam to him out of respect to him.
So if Sheikh Al-Padi passes by and he's teaching in the class, he would stop his class as a respect for the Sheikh. Just he's passing by, and he just says Assalaamu'alaikum until he passes by, and then he continues his class. Now,
the great scholar, the teacher, Muhammad ad-Din
Al-Khatib, Muhammad Al-Khatib
said, and from the callers to the Sunnah who devoted their lives to reviving it was our brother Muhammad Nasir ad-Din
Najati Al-Albani, which is a Sheikh of Hadith, Muhammad Al-Khatib. The great scholar Muhammad Hamid Al-Fiqhi,
the brother, the Salafi, the scholar, Sheikh Nasir ad-Din.
He one who interpreted and made an interpretation on explanation of the Kitab Al-Tawheed. Muhammad Hamid Al-Fiqhi, he had made him to be the great scholar, Sheikh Al-Albani. Also the former Mufti.
The former Mufti of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Sheikh Muhammad ibn Ibrahim al-Sheikh said.
And Muhammad Ibrahim al-Sheikh is the Sheikh of lots of Sheikh. He's the Sheikh of Ibn Baz, the Sheikh of Al-Fawzan, the Sheikh of Ibn al-Uthaymeen. Okay? He said about the Sheikh Al-Albani.
And he is the upholder of the Sunnah, a supporter of the truth and an opposition to the people of falsehood.
Okay, during the lifetime?
During his lifetime, the Sheikh Abdul Aziz ibn Baz said, I have not seen under the surface of the sky a person knowledgeable of the Hadith in our current time, the likes of the great scholar Muhammad Nasir ad-Din al-Albani. And he was asked about the Hadith of Prophet ﷺ. Indeed, Allah raises up from his ummah at the beginning of every century someone who will revive before them.
So,
he was asked, who is the Mujahid?
The Mujaddid.
Mujaddid of this century?
Mujaddid means reviver. Now, he replied,
Sheikh Muhammad Nasir ad-Din al-Albani. He is the Mujaddid, in my opinion, and Allah knows best.
He just did not mention except for Sheikh Al-Albani. Sheikh Ibn Baz, he only mentioned Sheikh Al-Albani to be the Mujaddid. Allah, every 100 years, will send a person to revive the religion of the people. He said, the Mujaddid of this time, of the last era, and that is Sheikh Al-Albani, rahimahullah, Mujaddid of the 14th century. So Sheikh Al-Albani is the Mujaddid of the 14th century. No doubt about that, Rahmatullahi. And the Imam Ibn Uthaymeen also, Fadal.
Sheikh Muhammad ibn Salah al-Uthaymeen said, from what I
Salih ibn Salih, not Salah. Salih al-Uthaymeen said,
from what I came to know of the Sheikh Al-Albani through my gatherings with him, and they were few, was that he was very serious about acting upon the Sunnah and fighting against innovations. And this was regardless of whether it was about the belief or about actions.
As
For through my readings of his written works, that I have come to know that about him, and also that he possesses a vast amount of knowledge of hadith, in terms of reporting them and investigating them. And Allah has benefited many people through what he has written, such as about knowledge, aspects of the manhaj, and concerns for the science of hadith.
Well, actually, more than that, the Sheikh would say that Sheikh Al-Albani is similar to Imam Ibn Hajar Al-Asqalani. Imam Ibn Hajar Al-Asqalani is the best in his time, whom the Sheikh Al-Albani says about Ibn Hajar, who is the Amir Al-Hadith, that the mothers are unable to produce somebody like him, to give birth to somebody like him. Do you understand? And that is Ibn Hajar. So Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen and the Shuyukh, they compare Imam Ibn Al-Albani at his time like Ibn Hajar at his time. That's how good he was. Now,
the great scholar Sheikh Zayd ibn Fayyad said about him, indeed, Sheikh Muhammad Nasir ad-Din al-Albani was from the most prominent and distinguished personalities of his era. He had great concern for hadith, its paths of transmission, its reporters, and its level of authenticity or weakness. This is an honorable task, one of the best things in which hours can be spent and efforts can be made. He was like any other scholar, those who are correct in some manners and err in other matters.
that means he's not infallible. Now, however,
his devotion to this great science of hadith is from that which requires that his prestige be acknowledged and his endeavors in it be appreciated.
Muhammad Aman al-Jami as well, great scholar of his time, the Sheikh of the Sheikh Salih al-Fawzan. He was talk about the Sheikh Al-Albani, number of statements. And he didn't mention all the scholars. Right, now let's go to Sheikh Muqbil, Sheikh of Yemen.
Sheikh Muqbil bin
Al-Wadi'i, he said,
indeed, there cannot be found an equal in terms of the knowledge of hadith like that of Sheikh Muhammad Nasiruddin al-Albani. Allah has given benefits through his knowledge and his books numerous times more than what has been accomplished by those zealots for Islam who act upon ignorance. Those who organize reformation and revolutionary movements. I sincerely believe that I am convinced that Sheikh Muhammad Nasiruddin al-Albani is from the Mujaddideen whom the Prophet ﷺ spoke the truth of when he said
the hadith which Habib mentioned. Sheikh Muqbil used to be shaking when he sees the Sheikh Al-Albani Rahmatullahi. He was a student in the Medina when Sheikh Al-Albani was a teacher. He says that I'm coming inside to go and convince him with something, and I've got already everything prepared, me and somebody like a student. We go there, every information in our head evaporates. Because when we see the Sheikh Al-Albani, the fear that when they get, everything evaporates. And every time he, for example, is asked about the hadith, say, well, this hadith, if the Sheikh Al-Albani was alive, I would not dare to say it is not sahih. But the Sheikh Al-Albani said sahih, I can't say anything. So we just only have the go ahead to talk when he's not alive. If he's alive, I can't say anything. They're really scared. I'm telling you, scared as in they're really the fear of the knowledge. When you see Sheikh Al-Albani, you'll be, I'm telling you, you'll be behaving. Put it this way. You will not be relaxed. You will be just scared to ask a question to the Sheikh Rahmatullahi because of the haybat al-ilm. The knowledge on his face. Allah put it like this. So if you want to, there is no washy-washy. The Sheikh does not give you that route. Okay? Sheikh jokes and everything, but in the best of manners. It reminds us of the Prophet ﷺ's era. That's what it was. Rahmatullahi ala Sheikh. As I said, we have lots of ahadith, lots of sayings from the scholars. We're going to go to his characteristics in a minute. We have Sheikh Abdul Muhsin al-Abbad, who had just recently stopped teaching in Medina. It's just recently. He retired from Sharh al-Sunan. He made Sharh to Sunan Abi Dawood, Sunan in At-Tirmidhi, Rahmatullahi, and he is the father of Sheikh Abdul Razak al-Badr. Both are scholars anyway. This Sheikh, Hafidhahullah, when he was asked, some people speak ill about the Sheikh Al-Albani. He said, no, these people are not speaking ill about Sheikh Al-Albani. They are trying to accuse the deen. They are trying to say that the deen is not effective. That's what it is. But they use the Sheikh Al-Albani. Because what are you against Sheikh Al-Albani in? What are you in? Sheikh Al-Albani is the one who spread the Sunnah. So that means you are against the Sunnah. That's what it is. So Sheikh Al-Albani represents the deen. As the Sheikh Ibn Taymiyyah at this time, any person says something against him, that means he is poking the deen. He is insulting the deen. Same thing with the Sheikh Al-Albani Rahmatullahi. He was in his time and until time. If you see somebody speak ill, either one of the two, either لا يطعن فيه إلا جاهل أو إلا مغرض. Scholars they said either that he is ignorant, doesn't know who Sheikh Al-Albani, or he is got something wrong in his heart. He's not upon the haqq. His characteristics, please.
May Allah have mercy on him. He had many praiseworthy characteristics. Among the most clear, manifest, and highest of them was his profound position with regards to knowledge, his diligence, perseverance, his tolerance with others, his firmness upon the truth, his quickness to return to correctness, his patience with the hardships of knowledge and da'wah, and his taking of insults and harm for the sake of Islam and his pure and pristine core, bearing that with patience and consideration. One of the greatest things that distinguished him from many of his brothers amongst the people of knowledge was his strong support for the Sunnah and its adherents, his firmness upon the knowledge of the Salaf al-Salih, who love for those who call to it, and his reputation against the deviants from all levels and various positions with an extreme clearness and a rare clarity. Once a man visited the Sheikh at his home in Jordan, claiming to be a prophet. The Sheikh sat the man down and discussed his claims at length. In the end, the visitor repented and withdrew from his claim, and all those present, including the Sheikh, were overcome with tears. The Sheikh was often heard bursting into tears when speaking about Allah, His Messenger ﷺ, and the affairs of the Muslim community. On another occasion, he was visited by three men, all claiming that Sheikh was a kafir. When it came time to pray, they refused to pray behind him, saying it is not possible for a kafir to lead the prayer. The Sheikh stated that they considered that he considered 3 of them Muslims, so one of them should lead the prayer. Later they discussed...
That's in his house. So you made one of those 3 who make Sheikh Al-Albani to be a kafir. So, okay, you're making me a kafir, I don't make you a kafir because I make you as ignorant. Okay, it's my house, one of you lead, no problem. I'll pray behind you. Because they don't pray behind the Sheikh. The Sheikh is for them what? He's a kafir. Because he does not make takfir upon the rulers or the leaders. Now, fadl. Later
they discussed the differences at length, and when it came time for the following prayer, all 3 men insisted on praying behind the Sheikh.
No, actually they stayed 3 days, 3 nights with the Sheikh. After the 3rd night, they were all of them convinced, but there were not 3, there were more than the 3. All of them returned back onto the haqq except for one. He stayed on the Khawarijism until he ended up as an atheist. Allah exposed what is in his heart, because he wanted to distinguish himself by separate from the Jama'ah. So he stayed as a Khawarij, but later on he became an atheist. An atheist, yes, he does not believe that Allah exists, subhanAllah, for being Khawarij. Extremism leads to another extremism on the other side, straight away. Extremism leads to another extremism. Rahmatullah. And the one who witnessed this gathering is still alive. One of them is Sheikh Professor Basim Al-Jawabir, who had said his story in our masjid there in Luton. And he talked about that story in full. If you want to go and see it, the Sheikh Al-Albani, Rahimahullah, when he had convinced all of them, some of the debates that took place. And I'll tell you what, the thing that distinguishes the Sheikh from all his contemporary scholars, like Sheikh Ibn Baz, Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen may be younger, Sheikh Ibn Baz and other scholars, that the Sheikh was the strongest in debate. No one can defeat him in debate, Rahimahullah. He's got a system in debate. And that is why one of the scholars, he said, Alhamdulillah that you are a Salafi. If you were not, you could have been make us defeat all the time. So Allah Azza wa Jal made you, Alhamdulillah, on our side. Even if you are in batil, we will not be able to defeat you. Because he's strong in what? Memorizing what the opponent had said. And he will bring it back. But you said this. Because he's got a system, like a flow chart. Sheikh Al-Albani, in any debate, he draws in his mind a flow chart. Yes, I'll ask you this question. No, I'll ask you the other question. Yes, ask you this question. Then he goes, but you said that. So he returns you back. That means you are negating yourself. You've got contradiction here. Like this, the Sheikh. Yes, no, then the Sheikh. This is how the debate is. Yes, no. You ask, yes, no. There's no question except for yes or no. And then he will arrive to the conclusion, and then the person, he will surrender. Surrender, khalas. One of them I remember, it was to do with the beard. And his beard was really long. And it was more than the Sheikh Al-Albani's opinion, which is have to be up to the handful, which is the Hadith of Abdullah ibn Umar and the other Abadillah. I was there, and I was listening, and I was translating. He was not an Arab, translating in English to that person. And then Sheikh Al-Albani brought everything to him. So he said, no. You could just ask me like this to stop, and then I will, because while I'm talking, ask me to stop, I'll stop. Jazakallah. Right, so go back, inshallah. As we said, that, what was I saying? The beard. So the Sheikh said to him, logically speaking, imagine this person's beard up to the ground. There's no such beard? There is. Google it. Somebody who has just made Umrah, MashaAllah, you see them? From India, Pakistan subcontinent. And this person, his beard is touching the floor. It's just like wiping the ground. How does he sleep with this beard? Isn't it like I would say, hazard, life hazard? He must strangle himself with it during the night? True or not? Unless he carry a bag on top of it and hides it and wraps it up. It has to. Because how can he sleep with his wife? He's like, my beard, you stepped on it. Too long. That's not correct. So you can't. So when you want to, logically speaking, it doesn't work. So how do you cut it? Hadith Abdullah ibn Umar, he used to, and the other Abadil, we have 10 Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, and all of them carry this like this, and they cut what is extra. So after convincing him, what do you think? I surrender. Okay, the scissors. And the person who always record Abu Layla, he got this briefcase, mashallah. I opened it, scissors, and I myself cut it for him. And I cut that much, I remember. It's really long beard. So we finished him. Rahmatullahi ala Sheikh. So the Sheikh is undefeatable in the debate. He's very strong. We're coming now to his death, last thing before we stop. Questions?
He was devoted to knowledge, authoring works, teaching and educating until the age of 86. He did not stop authoring books, referencing and checking of hadith until the last 2 months of his life, when he grew very weak. Allah took his soul in death right before sunset on Saturday the 23rd Jumada al-Akhirah from the year 1420 Hijri, which is the 2nd of October 1999. He left his will advising his relatives not to wail over his death and hurry his burial. He donated his entire library, which included valuable manuscripts, to the library of the Islamic University of Medina. The Sheikh's funeral prayer was performed on the evening of the same day that he died. Scores of people, whose number exceeded that of 5,000 persons, prayed over him. The scholars, students of knowledge and common people were all affected by his loss. May Allah have mercy on his soul, put him in paradise and make his work a source of benefit for him.
Right, the biography is finished, but I remember his death, Rahmatullahi. The Sheikh, he said in his will that he needs to be buried as soon as, that he's being prepared. He doesn't want to be stayed. If he was to stay till the following day, the airports will close down. Believe me, the amount of people are going to come from all over the place, all over the globe, I should say. I'm not exaggerating. It will be closed. The airport will be chaos. But the Sheikh, he said, no. Death, straight away what? Burial. And he was buried in the cemetery that he wanted to be buried. The cemetery the closest, so he could be carried where? On the shoulders, not to be carried in the car. So from his house to that cemetery, it's about, I would say, 5 to 10 minutes walk. 5 to 10 minutes walk, depending upon how fast you are. So this is a local one, whereas the other one, which is outside the city, it's about 3/4 an hour of driving. Sheikh Al-Albani doesn't want that, because this is the sunnah, that the graveyard is supposed to be in the cities, not away from the cities. So that people can pay heed and learn from it. And the Sheikh Al-Albani, when he was buried in that cemetery was not respected in terms of what hasn't got a fence. So there is a sheep passing by or goats or something like this. They would just put their stool on top of these graves. It was not really respected. As soon as Sheikh Al-Albani was buried there, it had a fence and around it and all of this. And the Sheikh was buried. He died after the sunset, which is Maghrib, and he was buried after Isha by an hour after Isha. What happened is they have to, because the land there is a rock land, not a normal land. To make a grave, you need this compressor, the big ones. They dig the street with it. So what they did, they hired it from the municipality. The municipality agreed with everything. They brought in 2 compressors and it was digging. And when he died, all the students at that time, we're talking about 1999, we didn't have that sort of smartphones, all of them, but we do have mobiles. Some of them, rich people have mobiles, but we do have landlines. So each person, he was trying to get his friends, come, Sheikh Al-Albani has been died, he wants to be buried. So the one who phoned me, Rahmatullahi, Habibullah, Sheikh Mashur, my Sheikh, he just called me. He said to me, come, and I was living far away. In Madam, you're talking about 25 miles away from the Sheikh. 25 miles from me, I don't have a car. So I'd have to have 2 taxis or 2 rented cars to go to the Sheikh. So when he told me, straight away I took, I can't remember, 2 or 3 people for me, and then I left to the Sheikh. And I went there and I saw Sheikh Izzat Khadr, who is his student, may Allah have mercy, he died as well, his neighbor, and he's the one who was in charge of the burial. And we stayed for about maybe an hour there just for the preparation for the digging. And it was digging and there was lights, because it was night, there was lights as well. They brought it, these spotlights and all of this to dig, and kept digging. And the number is so much that you cannot put it in a masjid. That's why we prayed the janazah outside in the field, okay, next to the grave, not far away from the graveyard. So we had to pray the janazah. And we had to bring system as well through the microphones and all of this. So when he said the number 3,000 to 5,000, maybe this is, I would say, a humble number. Allahu A'lam. Lots of people. As I said, if it's to wait for a longer time, everybody was going to come from everybody. This is just the people local, each one telling the other one. And the Sheikh was buried, and Izzat Khadr, Rahmahullah, this is for documenting for the history, it was being recorded. Izzat Khadr told me in his mouth, he said, Subhanallah, when he came out from the grave, he said to me, I just put the Sheikh, because normally we put the face towards what? The Qibla. So he said, I just put the Sheikh, and remember he had lahd. If it was shaq, it's easy to do it. Lahad means they dig this way and then they dig that way towards the Qibla. Say this is the Qibla now. Let's say the Qibla. They dig from there and then they dig a niche towards the Qibla. So here the ground is still solid. Okay, and the person is underneath. And then when they put the sand, they don't want to put it on top of the person because the person is in that niche underneath that solid ground. Do you understand me? Was the other people is a shaq, and then you put some slabs, and then put the slab on top of the slabs, you put the sand. But this is not the case, which is called lahad, and this is the sunnah. So the Shaykh, he wanted the sunnah. And not every land would be suitable to the sunnah. It has to be the land which is solid land. Because if it's normal soil, it will not fall into the person. So he said to me, when I put the Shaykh, okay, I didn't do anything. He's just faced, turned by itself to the Qibla. And he feels this is a karama for the Shaykh. I remember he said, Alhamdulillah, Shaykh is just like this. And he was his face towards the Qibla. I didn't do any turning to it. Alhamdulillah. Because turning to the Qibla is not easy, Ikhwani. Because the neck is stiff. It's like everything's stiff. Your hand is stiff, everything's stiff. So what we do sometimes, because the neck does not towards the Qibla, we lift the side, the left-hand side. We put it and we put something underneath, like a brick or not a brick, like a hard mud, okay, underneath, in order to make his head, because his head, it tilts with his body like this. Do you understand me? It's not his head without his body because he's dead. So we have to lift the whole side in order his face to fall. But his Sheikh Al-Albani tilted by itself without tilting his body. Do you understand me? He just put him there. Sheikh, he went to the, and that's a karama for the Sheikh. Rahmatullahi ala Sheikh. ونسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يلحقنا الله سبحانه وتعالى جميعا بحوض رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فنشرب من حوضه. We have finished, Alhamdulillah, the death of the Shaykh, and inshallah next time we'll talk about the book itself. We will be quoting some of the introductions of those books. Believe it or not, that this is the asl. It was a manuscript, and later on the Shaykh had authored this, and later on he had authored this. But listen, this was not printed except after this. So this one stayed as a manuscript. This one is the one who came out, which is this is the whole thing of this book, but without the hadith checking. Because this one contains discussion about the hadith, if it's authentic or not. Deep discussion of each hadith. This one has got no the takhrij, just Rawahu Muslim, Rawahu Nasai, that's it. This one has got more details. But still, when they wanted to print this, that was the year 1424. It's about 20 years ago. When they want to print this, there are things the Shaykh had put in this one, which is not in this one. So when they printed this, they added from the book, which is supposed to be, this is the origin of it, but they added to the origin from this book. Because the Sheikh Al-Albani, every time he renews the book, he adds to this one. Then later on, he had this last one, which is the concise. And in this concise, you think, oh, khalas, the concise, if you read this, the concise, no. Subhanallah. When they printed this, they did not include the concise because the concise was not out yet. Or it was out, but did not include. This concise has got things that both these two hasn't got it as well. Okay, so we're going to add the concise onto our reading as well. The concise got there things which is important, okay, which is to do with rukn, shart, mustahab, wajib, something like this. That is in this book, where you don't find it in these books. Wallahu ta'ala alam. By this, alhamdulillah, we finish. And I think we have chosen, inshallah, the correct time for our topic. Alhamdulillah, yes. How long have you been recording now? An hour? About an hour? More than an hour. More than an hour, yeah, you just making it down. طيب, do you have any question, Khari? Jazakallah khair. Any question? Barakallah fikum. I'll take questions as well from there. Fadal.
There's a lot of people from like the Khawarij manhaj that accuse Sheikh Al-Albani of being from amongst the Murja. What is the response to that?
A lot of people of Khawarij, they are accusing Sheikh Al-Albani what?
Of being from the Murja.
Murji'a, not Murji'a. Murji'a is different. Murji'a. Subhanallah, as Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen had said, either these people, they don't know Sheikh Al-Albani, or they don't know what is irja. Choose one of the two. But I add a third one, and these people something wrong with the heart. They know what is irja, and they know what is Sheikh Al-Albani, some of them, but they do it out of just accusation, to put him down. So that's the third choice. Sheikh Al-Albani says, either this person doesn't know Sheikh Al-Albani or he doesn't know Zarja. He who says Al-Imanu qawlun wa amal. Iman comprises actions and belief. He had come out from all types of irja. Okay, and the Sheikh Al-Albani, of course, he's got a number of books in this one. Where he says Al-Iman, the book is Iman, which is Al-Imanu qawlun wa amal. And Sheikh Al-Albani would never be from the Murja. He is actually harder than those people who say they are from Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. Like Sheikh Al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, Rahimahullah, he says the Murji'ah of three types. One of them is called Murji'atul Fuqaha. Murji'atul Fuqaha, like the followers of Abu Hanifa, Rahimahullah. Murji'at al-Fuqaha. They say this, the action is part of the Iman, but it is not essential. It is not essential. So Shaykh al-Islam he says that this difference between them and us is suri. Suri means like superficial, it's not really strong. Shaykh al-Albani says no, it's a strong difference between us and them. So it's even harder. So if you're going to call Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, so Shaykh al-Albani to be murji, then Shaykh ibn Taymiyyah is more murji. He's harder than Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah regarding this issue. He says no, the difference between us and them is not suri, it's not just superficial. Or it looks like it's a ikhtilaf, it's a big ikhtilaf. Now.
Any other questions, brother?
Sheikh, where did he pass away? In Jordan or in Medina? Where did he pass away? In Jordan or in Medina?
Then he passed away in Jordan. Yeah, I was in Jordan. Yeah, in Jordan, in Amman, in called the place where it is. He was buried in Jabal Hamlan, mountain of Hamlan. Now.
One of his Abdullah, she's still working on hadith like the Sheikh used to do.
Abdullah min Unaysa?
Abdullah, is it Abdullah?
Yeah, Unaysa, the daughter, the eldest daughter. Yeah, Unaysa. The daughter of the Sheikh Al-Albani, rahimahullah. Is she still, by the way, her husband, Nizam, he had died a long time ago, well before, a long time ago he died. Nizam Sakija, not before the Sheikh, but he died a long time ago. Is she still working on the hadith? Well, Allahu A'lam, she is, but she's not as great as her father in hadith. But she had made a booklet of hers where she says, I ask my father and my father answers. So like a book of her private question to the Sheikh, her father, and her father answers her the questions. She loved her father, and her father loved her the most, the eldest daughter, loved her the most. He would not distinguish between his children, but she was special to the Sheikh, Rahmatullahi. Now,
Barakallahu Sheikh. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but what's the ruling of praying Sunnah and Nawafil whilst traveling?
right, so he's jumping ahead. Don't worry to jump backwards and forwards. And question is that what is the rule regarding praying? He said Sunnah and Nawafil while you're traveling. As for Nawafil, no problem to pray. Like Duha prayer when you're traveling, no problem. But the Sunnah Ratiba, no. What's the difference? Sunnah Ratiba means Dhuhr, it's got Sunnah Ratiba, which is 4 before and 4 after. You don't pray these things. Maghrib, it's got Sunnah after, 2 Sunnah after. Isha, it's got 2 Sunnah after. But the Witr, you pray it. The 2 Sunnah, the Fajr, you pray it. These are the 2 Sunnah Ratiba that you pray them. The Witr and the 2 Sunnah. Other than that, you don't pray. As for the Nawafil, Prophet of Allah used to pray the Duha, even he was a traveler. Nawafil. Nawafil is not a Sunnah linked to the obligatory prayer. Now. Alhamdulillah, Khwani. Jazakumullah khair. And today's the online is not a lot of people, usually about 50 people. It's actually because of that my lecture was not being put onto the Telegram. And usually the one who does put it on the Telegram is my right hand, Ahmed, Hafidhahullah. I want you to make dua for him because he's in the hospital. So please make dua for him. He's my right hand, and he's the one who puts the things, everything. He organizes everything. I don't do anything. He knows the channel. He knows the telegram. I don't know anything. So he's the one who puts it there. So he didn't put it. That's why I have only 2 people. طيب. Have any questions?
Can we get the organizers of this class to share the Telegram channel in the WhatsApp so we can join?
Yeah.
So what's that?
So we will be streaming ourselves as well,
Yeah. Okay.
inshallah. Once the technology.
No problem.
But if you want the actual.
No, you could stream to YouTube, and then the YouTube will send the question to one of the brothers there. You write the question, you fire the questions here. No problem, inshallah. Yeah.
But the Zoom as well, as a fail-safe in case our technology, we can
The Zoom is only one from here. The Zoom.
Oh, the Telegram channel. Is it just for this class or is it general news and?
It's all the classes.
Oh,
The Telegram is all the classes.
We'll
Okay.
we can share that.
Share that one, so you could put it yourself as well, because I myself have no. I do have access. I don't know the Telegram. My Telegram, I don't have access or not. If I show you, I haven't really Telegram. I hardly opened it. Let's see, Telegram. Where is Telegram here? Is it Telegram?
That's Telegram, yeah.
Okay, look. You will see now. Where is my name?
So it's the name of the group.
Look how many letters I haven't seen.
Oh, subhanallah.
173 messages. I didn't see them.
Leave it for,
Yeah. نعم. طيب سبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وجزاكم الله خيرا وبارك الله فيكم. May Allah SWT bless you and bless this class and bless us tonight بإذن الله.
Just want to update you on an event that we were meant to have on Sunday, this Sunday coming up. Unfortunately, the Ustad Al-Harabi isn't able to make it to Portsmouth, so we will be cancelling our event in Portsmouth. However, the event will still be going ahead in Masjid Rahmah in Southampton. Abu Bakr Masjid in Southampton, and it will be after Dhuhr on Sunday. So that will go ahead, but the Portsmouth one at Maghrib time, which was scheduled to be this masjid, has been cancelled unfortunately out of our control.
Assalamu'alaikum. Just another quick announcement. We've got a fundraising tournament which we're going to announce soon. It is the fundraising for Gaza, inshallah. To help our brothers. It's a football tournament on the 28th of January. So not this month, next month, the end of next month. It will be in Gold Portsmouth. If you're interested in putting a team, just keep an eye out for the announcement. Jazakallah khair. See you in 2 weeks.
This book I bought it in 1991.
Before I was born.